Yeah, really excited about our team right now and the momentum that we're starting to build here at the end of January. Absolutely love the teamwork that we have and the togetherness that we're playing with. I feel like we're showing a lot of balance on our team. I feel like we're showcasing a lot of the depth that we have on our roster, and I think it's so much fun to see our team continue to grow and the way that we're being able to get a little bit from everybody all over the place. You know, our players are kind of taking their turns at having their big nights, and that's what I really love about this team. Is I believe that any player on our team can have a big night any night, and I love the unselfishness that we have and the way we support each other whenever they have those nights. But I really love how we're getting a lot more from our bench. We're showcasing our depth a little bit. We're really standing by our defense. You know, in our last 4 games alone, I believe we're number 1 in the conference in our effective field goal percentage defense and field goal percentage defense. So being able to hold down the paint like we've been able to hold down these last few games and being able to continue to grow that into the floor is going to be critical to our success. But I think we're doing that without having to adjust our pace of play. I think we're still having a great pace of play. I think we're still, you know, pushing the ball in transition and getting able to get a lot of flow early in the offense for us.
Want to go first? Sure. So how you doing?
Good. Yeah.
It doesn't seem it doesn't get easier, and so I guess what do you kind of how you prepare your group, given that I guess, and especially because I was kind of looking at the home schedule here the last, that you end up playing a lot of the top teams in the conference, I guess a couple different times or whatever, and so how do you kind of prepare your group for that?
Yeah, for sure. You know, I think it's a coaching cliche to say you just take it one game at a time, but I think there's a greater plan than that. Do we have great preparation and great focus on what's right in front of us? For sure we do. You look at kind of like the seasons of growth of your team throughout this year, early non-conference, in those neutral site tournaments, late non-conference, and then you see the early conference games and how our team was able to grow heading into that bye week. We're coming out of a bye week with a home game, and now we're getting ready to go on the road, and you're really able to kind of plan and prepare and help your team grow through these different segments. And what's really fun about our conference is, we talk about the parity, we talk about the competitiveness, but I really like these challenges that we have in front of us because they're going to challenge us to grow in new ways than we've had to be able to perform in these past few games. And so we're looking forward to those challenges and continuing to grow our team to be able to peak perform in March.
Do you ever peek at the standings?
Every now and again. Yeah, we see them every now and again for sure.
But do you ever, you're a coach, so you're going to say no. But I'll ask anyway. Do you ever try to position yourself? Last year the position was to be the number 1 seed. That's always the ultimate goal, is to win the conference championship. But if that is not the end result, do you ever get to a point where you're hoping, well, I hope we can get to this spot because this is better for us when it comes to the conference tournament?
Yeah, absolutely we do, and absolutely we're well aware of what that looks like in our conference tournament from a seeding standpoint. It doesn't go without having that focus on what's right next up for your team. We even talk about those things as a team. You talk about the climb, you talk about where you want to be, you talk about your vision and your goals, but we talk about being embedded in that process. And I think when we can embed ourselves in that process and you look at that climb that's right in front of us, we talk about what's this step, what's this step, what's this step. The only way you get to that last step is to do what's right in front of you. But we're well aware of where we are, and we're well aware of kind of the cluster of some of these teams that we're getting ready to play in the middle that are very similar to us and in a very similar situation to us. So we understand it's kind of like in games, how sometimes you teach your team you're going to play these 2 minutes and these 2 minutes and these 2 minutes. Well, we're in a 2-minute game right now, and our next 2-minute game is going to be against Rice.
Paige Bradley hasn't played the last 2 games. You had a couple players, like Maddie Cartwright bounced when she was out there. Kennedy Alexander was hurt but came back. What is your perspective on your overall health as you kind of approach the next few weeks?
Yeah, for sure. And those situations are medical, and those are day to day. But I really believe that sometimes those medical things, they're part of the game. You look at any team in America right now, and they're going to be battling maybe some of those different physical injuries that you have. I really trust our sports performance staff. I think they're doing a great job. One thing that I know our players have is our players have really great self-care in their recovery and the way that they take care of their bodies and get their rest and the way they hydrate. And so I do believe that we're going to be able to be able to peak perform through all of this season.
You mentioned your defense, turnovers that you created, able to capitalize on that. What's kind of been the catalyst to your defense and how they performed as of late?
Well, I think the biggest thing right now is that we're contesting without fouling. Early in our season, you saw us have to learn and grow in that area quite a bit. And every now and again, we have a game that comes up where we need to be more disciplined in that area. But we're doing a great job of defending without fouling. And one of the areas that's required a great focus from us recently, I mentioned, was the paint. We played a lot of teams that are dominant paint scorers. And I think that's been where our effective field goal percentage has been really good in the way that we can kind of contest in that paint area and get those rebounds. It definitely is everybody. We've played some teams that have wanted to play a lot of ISO game against us, and we've got to make sure that we have good one-on-one defense in that way. But our team has really helped each other, and our rotations have been good, and we've been able to be versatile defensively. There's some teams where we want to make sure that we can kind of stick with our man-to-man a little bit. There's some teams where we want to look at an alternative defense, like a zone, and I think our team's done a really good job of playing both of those defenses really well.
The discipline aspect of it, is that something that you could see, like the future of, okay, we feel like that they're going to get it at some point? Was that kind of rolling through your head on that part?
Yeah, for sure. Like, we get to be in practice every day with them, so we get to see these glimpses of greatness, and these glimpses of greatness in practice. And we know sometimes it's just a matter of connecting those consistencies a little bit more with that.
Depth-wise, in terms of scoring, I remember you talking at the beginning of the season. It seems like that this was kind of your ultimate vision, that you knew at some point you're going to get to a point where we have this depth that bench can step up and follow through and have a variety of different scores.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we see what Maddie Cartwright did the other night, right? And just her ability to play both ends of the floor and was a major contributor. And then you look and you see what Jade Clack is doing for us. You look and see what Kennedy Alexander is doing for us. You look at the way Crystal Eisen comes in the game, and she's able to push tempo and get us going very quickly on offense and the defensive side of the ball. It's really fun to be able to have a team that can have so many different weapons like that, and they all do it in their own way. And what I love about this team is the way we're complementing each other, right? You're not going to see a lot of the exact same style of players that are on the floor. We're all going to fit our style of play in the way that we're unselfish and we play fast and we move the ball. But within that, they each have their own scoring ability. They each have their own rebounding ability. They each have their own successful matchups that we want to make sure that we get right on the floor. And I think that's one of the greatest strengths of our team, is the way that we can play like that.
We've talked a lot about closing out games kind of the last few weeks, and obviously on Saturday it was tight to the fourth, and you guys were able to pull that one out. When you went back and look at that, was that a sign of growth that you felt like, or was that kind of a standalone game?
No, I felt for sure it was a sign of growth in our team to be able to close out a close game like that. I mean, we're looking at a 4-point game with, under 2 minutes to go, and the way that we had to get those defensive stops, I felt like our rebounding was tremendous. Hadley Perryman is doing such a great job on the boards right now, but I felt like it was truly a team effort on some of those stops that we got defensively. And then we had struggled against Memphis in the game to really take care of the ball. And so you want to make sure that whenever you're on offense in those critical situations, that we can have great sureness with the ball, and we can have great ball security to be able to get to where we needed to be offensively, and then close out those free throws there at the end with Maddie Cartwright and Delaney Crawford.
Is seeing that from them give you kind of more confidence going into a stretch where you're going to have a lot of teams that are going to be pretty even, so you would imagine there'll be a few more close games kind of coming up?
Yeah, for sure. Our goal is to always have a comfortable lead there at the end of the game, but there are going to be time and score games. You look at our league, you look at the competitiveness on any given night. Anybody can beat anybody, and we love that about our league, and so you want to make sure that you're ready for those situations. I do think that, we have a team that didn't necessarily have a ton of experience in those late game situations, and we were able to start getting that really early in our non-conference season, and I think we're seeing kind of the benefits of that right now.
Delaney Crawford, trying to think of a way to phrase this. Does she understand in the moment of with the record about being an ambassador for the sport and for the University of Tulsa? Because I think back to the Allison Curtins of the world and the Jillian Robbins and what they kind of meant to the sport and the community at that time. Maybe this is more of a question after the season is over, but does she kind of understand the moment?
Yeah, well, Allison and Jillian were great players here at TU, first of all, and so being able to kind of fill into those bigger shoes is such an honor for Delaney and an honor for our team. I think Delaney is one of the most kind and humble people that you will ever meet and one of the most selfless people that you will ever meet. When we talk about those things, she certainly understands that this is a big deal to be able to do that, but she's like, okay, we got it. What's the next thing? Let's move on to the game. I think Delaney's competitive spirit is unmatched in the way that she wants to step on the floor and wants her team to win. And I think she does focus really hard on that, which is where every coach wants her to focus on. But then we've been doing a lot of community service just over the Christmas break, and I think it helps give her and our whole team the perspective of the way they're impacting the community right now. And Delaney Crawford, especially with the platform that she's been able to have, she's a servant leader, and she's volunteering in classrooms and she's volunteering in memory care facilities. She's doing so much to impact the community that's beyond performance. And I think that's really where you win in life.